Jen here, and I have a layout for you guys for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, the telephone game YouTube Hop Round 5. I know, Round 5. Can you believe it? This is such a fun game. So if you guys have never seen it before, essentially we're playing the telephone game, only instead of whispering words to each other, we're passing on layouts. So the first person creates a layout, she sends it to the next person in line, that person scrap lifts the original layout, then they send their layout to the next person in line. So person number 3 scrap lifts person number 2, and over the course of a few people, you get to see how the layout transforms from that original layout all the way until the end. So you definitely want to come back every day so that you can see how our team goes from our original layout, which was from Moira. I'm number 2 on the team, so this is the second layout, and then it'll just keep going. So all the links will be down below. Every day as they become live, you'll be able to see the next video. And you saw Moira's layout right at the beginning of my video, so I'm scrap lifting her. So I really love her color palette. It's really got these beautiful kind of purples and stuff, but I have a travel themed kit for my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of June. So I know it's July, but I did this in June, and I really wanted to use that kit as best I could, so I went ahead and pulled those papers out. And I really liked her triangle, so I'm going to go ahead and use that kind of as my foundation, my base. She also used a pattern paper as her background, so I wanted to make sure that I did that too. And then her background paper actually has clouds on it, so I pulled out a cloud paper from Studio Calico, and that's what I'm going to make my triangle out of, as you can see here. And then essentially, I'm just going to start building up some embellishment clusters. Now, her layout was flipped the other way, and originally I thought that I would go ahead and do that too, but I didn't like the way that the triangle looked with my photo. She has 2 photos, but they're placed so that they're going more vertical, and my photo is landscape or more horizontal, so I kind of liked having my triangle look almost more like a pyramid. And then I'm just going to kind of build 3 embellishment clusters from there. And because my background paper is the Pinkfresh Studio Out and About collection, I went to those ephemera pieces first, so you can see I've pulled out a whole bunch of them. I'm just looking at her layout there to kind of see where she put her embellishment clusters. So now that I have a general idea of the embellishments that I want to use, kind of those bigger pieces that I cut from that cut apart sheet, and some of the ephemera pieces, tickets and things like that that I pulled out of the, I don't have all of the ephemera from this collection, but I had a bunch of pieces, so I pulled out a bunch of those. So now I can go ahead and kind of put everything together. So Moira has some layers on the left hand side of her layout, kind of at the base of that triangle, so I want to go ahead and do that too. I feel like it kind of gives a little bit of grounding to the whole thing, and I just kind of, it's a good way to use up some layers. So I'm going to cut some of these geotags. These are all pieces from the Out and About collection, so that darker piece that I'm going to use at the top is from Out and About, and then these geotags, and that manufacturer strip actually is from Studio Calico. I think that is from the cloud paper, and because that has a little bit of that more mint to it, which the Out and About collection doesn't really have that mint, it's more of a teal. I decided to put that branding strip in there too because I wanted to bring a little bit of that color in. And I'm going to use some of this because there's a lot of yellow and reds in the collection, and so I wanted to have just a little bit of that kind of represented in my layers as well. And then I can go back to sticking down all of my embellishments. Now, of course, I didn't take a picture, so when I go back to try to put everything the way that they originally were, the way that I liked them, I can't get them to go back that way, but that's okay. Eventually I play around enough to the point where I kind of get it all figured out. So here I decided, instead of having my photo right in the center of that pyramid or that triangle, I don't know why I keep saying pyramid, right in the center of that triangle, I decided to shift it over just slightly to the left. And then that way you can kind of see the pattern of the triangle a little bit better, and it doesn't get covered up with all of the embellishments. And that top cluster that I'm putting, it kind of helps you to focus your eye a little bit more on the fact that even though this picture is of my kids and my husband, really what we're taking a picture of there is the haystack rock, which is in the Goonies movie. So we were at Cannon Beach on the Oregon coast, and that was why they were all kind of posed that way, because Haystack Rock is right there. And it was so foggy when we went, even though it was the dead of summer. It was super, super foggy, so we didn't get very many clear pictures, but it is back there. You can kind of see it a little bit in amongst all that fog and whiteness, which is actually the ocean. So I kind of wanted to make sure that I somehow was able to just bring your eye up to that a little bit and get you to kind of see that. I do journal a little bit about it too, but I really kind of wanted a cluster to be right there. So now I think I've got them all kind of placed where I want them. And of course, I didn't take a picture again, so those clusters will be slightly different, but I think now I kind of have them set in my head a little bit more, so I do replicate them a little bit better this time. But that's definitely a big tip I have if you are kind of placing things down without sticking anything down, and you find a design or a setup or a way of layering things that you really like. Either stick them all down in some way, kind of like what Missy Whedon does, where she'll just sort of stick all of the embellishments together and then she can take them off of her background to do more work on the background. Or take a picture so that you can replicate what the design is that you really liked. So here I go again, trying to put them all back together. And I mean, it's kind of like a puzzle, right? Every time you do it, you find the way that everything kind of snuggles in together and nestles in together. And so there you can see where I'm putting this embellishment cluster. It definitely brings your eye up to the top of the picture, and now you can kind of focus on that haystack rock. And my journaling, I think, is going to go right there. That's sort of my intention, is to put it right there where it says bucket list, but then I cover that all up. So, things happen and you just go with the flow, right? And now, with all of the ephemera pieces down and the pieces that I cut from the cut apart sheet, I'm going to start adding in other layers. I keep referring back to Moira's layout, not because I want to copy exactly, but I like to pull things that kind of give the same feeling. And so she has lots of little random dots around her layout, and that's what I'm doing here. Is I just want a couple little circles kind of scattered around my layout as well. And this collection has a whole bunch of them. So between the sticker sheet and the puffy stickers that I have right here, you can see I'm able to put a few little clusters kind of scattered around that have that circular feeling to them. And for my layout, it's more just about bringing in all of those colors so that they're all kind of represented, and the red is spread out and the blue is spread out and things like that. So I think I'm done with the puffy stickers and those cardstock stickers. I think those are my favorite cardstock stickers I have ever had. Not necessarily the collection itself, but just the type of cardstock sticker. They just stick so nicely, and I like how they're put on that backing so you don't have to peel them away from the outside kind of negative space. I just love them. I wish I had 7 more packs. I don't know if they continue doing them for all of their collections, because I've only got them for this Out and About collection, but they're definitely one of my favorites. So I added some enamel dots, kind of spread those out. Again, I just picked colors that if I didn't really have them represented in my cluster, I stuck them down with enamel dots. So a little red, a little yellow. And then I love Moira's hashtags. So I'm not going to put a true title on here, but I wanted to put a couple of hashtags. So I'm kind of MacGyvering these letter stickers. I decided to go with black because I knew I would be able to spell out most of these words with these black little tiny letter stickers that I have, and the writing on the background paper is black, so I figured it worked good. So my first hashtag says Goonies Adventure, because before we left, we actually watched the Goonies. It's one of our favorites. So we watched the Goonies, and then we did kind of the whole Goonies adventure, and we had lunch in Astoria and drove around a little bit there. And then, of course, we did Cannon Beach so we could go to Haystack Rock. So the first hashtag is Goonies Adventure. The second one says Haystack Rock. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling here to kind of explain how the kids were just really excited to be able to kind of, I don't know, see a movie that they know isn't real, but suddenly it's kind of come to life by being able to see those landmarks, I guess you could say. And now when we watch the movie, they can get really excited and say, oh, I've been there, and they tell their friends. So I think that's really cute. I love when that kind of stuff can happen. So to finish off my layout, I'm just going to take some of the Heidi Swapp Color Shine in teal and splatter it all over my little cluster areas. I just kind of wanted that darker teal color spread out a little bit. And we're all done. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to check out Moira's link down below so you can see how she's starting off our telephone game. And then Lisa's link will be ready for you tomorrow so you can check hers out and see how she scrap lifted me and passes it on to the next person. There are also a bunch of other teams that you can check out too, so I'll leave all those links down below. And until next time, happy scrapping, stay safe. Bye!